So let's check out what it looks like to graph. Let's practice our graphing. So we're going to practice graphing. Remember, if we're given an equation, let's use this equation here. 3/2 is my slope, and -5 is my y-intercept. All right, if I'm going to graph this, I need to start with my y-intercept and then use my slope to find the next point. Whenever you're graphing, you want to make sure that you're graphing at least 3 points, okay? And that you have a straight edge. So I got my straight edge, I got a ruler here. And I'm going to use pink right now. Remember this equation that we had was a y-intercept of -5 and a slope of 3/2. So let's rewrite this here. Y equals 3 over 2x minus 5. So if I'm graphing, I start with my y-intercept of -5. So right down here. And then I use my slope and I go up 3 and over 2. And I go up 3 and over 2. I could also, if I went down 3 and to the left 2, that still gives me this positive slope. Get my ruler out. And there is the equation of, or there is the graph of that line. All right. Let's look at another problem. Let's look at y equals, what if I have 7 minus 4x? What is my slope here? Well, my slope here is really going to be -4, and then my y-intercept is this +7. So I start with my y-intercept of 5, 6, 7, and now I use my slope. -4 is really a slope of -4 over 1, right? So instead of going up, because it's rise over run, I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 1. And you'll see, once I draw this line, I've got a fairly steep slope that is negative. If I was to compare this slope to the previous slope I had, let's draw that one again. So we had -5. You see that all right? Let's pick a different color. Well, all right, so -5, and we had 3/2 of our slope, so up 3 over 2, and up 3 over 2, and up 3 over 2. Oh, I messed up. Up 3 over 2. Okay, so now once I draw this one, if I needed to compare these two slopes, some key things that I would talk about would be whether one is positive or negative. Also, this line here is much steeper in declining than this one is in increasing. Okay? So steepness of slope is a way to compare, and positive or negative slope is another way to compare slope. Side note, that's on one of your quizzes. All right, so if I also wanted to graph, what would I do if I had to graph y equals 4? So if I look here and I think of my y-intercept, this is my y-intercept. My y-intercept is 4. What's my slope? my slope for this point, or for this equation, is actually 0. So I don't go up and I don't go over, I just stay flat. So this is a slope of 0, and it's just a horizontal line. Every value on this line, y equals 4. All right, it's kind of a tricky one. The other type of line we could get would be a vertical line. And a vertical line is going to look like something like this. X equals -2. Well, here, I don't have a y-intercept, so I'm never going to cross the y-axis. And do you remember what a slope of a vertical line is? It's not 0 because that's the horizontal line. This has a slope that is undefined. And why I say that is, if we talk about walking uphill or walking downhill with a slope, if you were going to go from left to right here, there's nowhere to go. You would have to jump straight up, or you would have to just cliff dive and go down. So there's no safe way to travel. It's an undefined slope. Sometimes when you're driving, you might see some signs and it tells what the grade is. It's like 7.9. I think that's pretty steep, but it'll tell you what the grade is for trucks. That's really the slope. So that's how many, I think it's like miles over something. I don't know what they actually use, but they use some measurements, but it's really, you could think of it as a slope. Trucks can't go this way. You're never going to see a vertical cliff for a road or a truck to travel or a car to travel. It's undefined, so we can't do that. So that's what we consider undefined. And I'm going to do one more. I'm going to have you practice. So if you have y equals x minus 4, how could you graph this? Go ahead and push pause and try this on your own. All right, so starting with my y-intercept of -4, and here my slope is 1. So I'm going to go up 1 and over 1. Rise is 1, run is 1. Rise over run, rise over run. And if I use my straight edge, there's my line. And there's more practice with graphing equations.